The recovery from the pandemic is really led by the leisure-oriented resort properties.
I'm here today with Jon Bortz, Chairman, President and CEO of Pebblebook Hotel Trust. Jon, Pebblebrook's portfolio consists primarily of properties located on the water. What are the strategic advantages of this in the lodging and resort sector?
So for our properties, and it's mostly resorts that are on the water, people love the water. There's a lot of things to do on the water, so you're attracting customers that enjoy those kinds of leisure activities. The people find the water both beautiful and frankly calming, and I think that's a big part of it. I've seen these studies that say that there's a almost scientific reaction that happens when you sort of stare at the water, and it's relaxing. So when I'm talking to you, I'm focused, and that doesn't allow your brain to relax. But when you look at the water, you actually relax. So it's really helpful to driving business. People love properties that are on the water.
Pebblebrook recently published its 4th annual ESG report. Can you share some of this year's highlights?
Sure. So this was a fascinating year. Of course, we're coming out of 2 years of a pandemic, and so this year we've set a goal of a 30% reduction in our carbon neutral, our carbon usage off of a base year by 2030. The other thing we've done is we're now working on a plan that we would create that would get us to carbon neutral by 2050. There are a lot of challenges in the business, obviously, and a big part of it has to do with the carbon nature of a lot of the utilities that we use, as an example. So we need the electric grid to, become more carbon friendly. A couple of other things. One, we made a lot of advancements in our DEI team this year. We're doing mentoring. We have guest speakers that come in. We're doing educational programs with our team members in the company, and that's been very successful. So a lot of progress on a bunch of different issues within the ESG program.
And how is the lodging and resort sector performing in 2022 compared both with pre-pandemic and during the pandemic?
Yeah, so in our portfolio, the recovery from the pandemic is really led by the leisure-oriented resort properties. So they've way outperformed the rest of the portfolio in terms of both the pace of the recovery and where they're at today. So today our resorts are something like $50 to $60 million in EBITDA ahead of where they were back in 2019. And we have rates that are up something like 55% at our resorts. You might have experienced it traveling. Unfortunately, it's gotten more expensive, particularly at the higher end properties. But the urban markets are recovering as well, and it's a little bit slower because there's both more of a business orientation, and the leisure side, there were a lot of restrictions that were put in place in a lot of the cities, and that obviously caused a delay in the recovery of the leisure traveler coming to these markets. So San Francisco, where we are, being a perfect example of that, had an awful lot of lockdowns, which dissuaded people from coming because either nothing was open or the city had some challenges, I think, in terms of how it looked.